This conference will now be recorded.
Hello and welcome to a presentation from the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation for Freedom, Family, and Faith. My name is Ann DeSantis and I'm the director for the foundation. We are associated with the Mercedarian Religious Order, and our mission is to making outreach to families in crisis. One of the areas that we're interested in making outreach is people affected by human trafficking. So that's why I have a very special guest. I want to welcome Art Salvagno. Thank you so much, Art, for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Ann. It's my pleasure.
Yes. And Art has been in law enforcement for 36 years. And in recent years, he and his friend John, as well as his wife and other great people, have come together for a special charity called Battle for Children. And this is against child sexual abuse and human trafficking. So we're going to have a conversation with Art about what he does. But before we do that, Art, just, tell us about yourself. And if somebody's listening to the beginning of this webcast, just tell them how they can make outreach to Battle for Children as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, during my 36, actually the last 14 years of my 36-year career with the Philadelphia Police Department, I was one of the child abuse investigators there with the Special Victims Unit. Roughly at that time, we had about 14 investigators, give or take 2 or 4. We had 20 at one time, but it's a burnout feature. After 4 years, many of our detectives burn out in that field of child sexual abuse, even adult rapes. So they tend to say, this is not for me anymore, and they move on. I lasted 14 years. Thank God. He wanted me there for a reason. And I learned a lot. Learned a lot about human trafficking, learned a lot about child sexual abuse. And one of the things I did learn was the fact that children weren't getting expedient services. In other words, 2-3 months down the road, they would see trauma-specific therapy, meaning that after disclosing the crime that happened, the trauma that occurred to them, they would then go to a forensic interview, or we would go through the process of observing that interview from another area in the building, whether it be another room or next door to where the forensic interviewer would be interviewing that child. And it would be myself or one of my compadres, as well as a DHS worker, social worker, children and youth, children and youth worker. Something just popped up, sorry. Children and youth worker, and we would get the story one time around to lessen the trauma of telling that story over and over and over again. So the idea was to get the service in as quick as possible. Let's say once the child discloses, goes through the reporting process, get into an intake service as quick as possible, within a week at least, and then go through the process of trauma-specific therapy to lighten the load, the burden that that child has. And then what came about was Battle for Children charities. My wife and I decided, hey, since I'm a worship leader at one of the local churches, let's contact our pastor and see what she has any ideas. So the three of us put our heads together and came up with Battle for Children Charities. But before it became Battle for Children Charities, it was the Battle of the Christian Bands. And the Battle of the Christian Bands brought together at the time 7 bands. Because of the number 7 so prevalent in the Bible, we said, let's do 7 bands. And each band performed 3 songs. And each song was judged upon by 4 judges, just like in American Idol that you would see on TV. Plus the audience would also take part and vote. And it became a big hit. So we started out at a local catering hall, a mansion actually, an historic mansion by the name of Knowlton Mansion, owned and operated by Conroy Catering. John Conroy, of course, great friend of my wife's, donated the facilities for the night. And his services, as well as the service of his team. and it happened to be during the week of Lent. So John, I guess we didn't realize it at the time, and I guess John didn't realize it at the time, but he provided us with a buffet of roast beef sandwiches with cheese, tomato, condiments, and everything else. So um, those who observed Lent, of course, couldn't eat the meat, so they made cheese and tomato sandwiches, uh,
Yeah.
which was fine. It all worked out well, and the Battle of the Christian Bands was initiated. It became our first one, and we just had a blast. And 8 years later, we've downsized it to 5 bands, and each band do 5 songs instead. And the first song we don't vote upon because they do their sound checks and everything like that. And we are in our audience grew from 65 to now close to 400 people that attend every year, and we make it free. It's a free admission event with a love offering. Food is provided for sale, of course, by the local church that's providing. We're hosting the event. And we have auction, a silent auction. And this year we actually have a live auction as well, provided by memorabilia for charities out of Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Scott Boinfroyd and his crew, they do such great work there. And they're going to be providing the silent auction as well as the live auction. And as well as the bands will have their own merchandise there to sell, because we have bands that have come in the past from as far as Ocho, California. This year we have bands coming in from Maryland, New Jersey, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, as well as the local surrounding area of Philadelphia, the Pennsylvania area as well. So some great bands. People won't want to miss what bands we have here, what the show is going to be like, and it all benefits the Philadelphia Children's Alliance. Every year we pick a local organization that provides forensic interviewing and trauma-specific therapy to children of human trafficking and sexual abuse. And this year, the Philadelphia Children's Alliance, who actually co-located with the Philadelphia Police Special Victims Unit and the child abuse section of the Department of Human Services, a great organization. Director there, Chris Kirkner. She's a great person. And we're happy to do this for them to provide whatever services they need, the funding to provide, I should say, the services they need. So we're looking forward to it. It happens this Saturday, the 23rd, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. The doors will open up. Bensalem United Methodist Church, a great place, 4300 Humeville Road, I believe, in Bucks County in Bensalem. And they can go on our website at Battle for Children. That's battle, the number 4, children.org to get more information about us, Bensalem United Methodist Church, as well as the battle and other fundraisers that we do. We do 2 other every year. The axe throwing, which happened January 5th at the Throw House in Philadelphia, PA. There's information on our website about what happened there. Great place to go for fundraising as well. And Al Smith comedy, comic Al Smith. He's such a great comedian. He also does his own comic school. So he brings forward for us every January, our comedy night. And that's usually held at Karen's Place in Doylestown, hosted by Don Heckler, who runs Karen Place. So, in fact, Don Heckler is one of our judges this year, as well as Tim Ewing from Kindred Ministries, who hosts the Kindred Awards in Jersey every year. The Kindred Awards awards all the Christian artists and bands throughout the tri-state area, voted upon by their peers. So we're looking forward to having Tim there. And of course, our main sponsor, Diane Zako of Junction Music, who's been instrumental with Boys to Men and many major gospel groups. Her recording studio is Hunting Valley, and she's providing the top prize, which is recording studio time to our winner. One of our winners over the past has been Thriving Seas, and they have went on to open up for Mercy Me, one of the top Christian artists out there, after making their 3-song EP at Junction Studios. So go to battleforchildren.org. We're always looking for donations. It goes to great causes such as, or great organizations such as Philadelphia Children's Alliance, Mission Kids of Montgomery County, CHOP, that's the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, St. Christopher's Hospital of Philadelphia, as well as Women Organized Against Rape. They do benefit from our services, from our fundraising services, I should say, and you should be a part of it.
Yes, thank you so much. Wow, that's great information. So just to recap, now we're coming to you from the Philadelphia area. This event is this coming Saturday, February 23rd, 2019. We know that this recording and this YouTube presentation is going to go beyond that. But keep that in mind, and especially for anybody who's watching and friends of the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation, remember that Art is also looking for items for the silent auction. So our foundation has made it a point to make outreach to victims of human trafficking. This event on Saturday and all the events that Art and his friend John Acunzo for Battle for Children, it's all helping. The funds are going toward helping for child sexual abuse and human trafficking. So friends of the foundation, please, you can email me and I can get in touch with Art. My work email is director.srnf@gmail.com. That's director.srnf@gmail.com. Nonnatus.org is the website for the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation. And you can even call or text me if you have any questions at 215-870-9913. So Art, as we're continuing this conversation, if somebody's listening, maybe they're not from the general Philadelphia area, and they're living in a neighborhood or a community, what are some of those telltale signs for people living in communities that maybe there is some kind of human trafficking or even child sexual abuse that's going on?
Well, first, I'd like to interject before they look for those signs or observe any of those signs. It's important that they don't get involved personally, don't interact with any of the individuals, including the victim themselves. Don't make any sudden gestures alerting them that you're aware something's going on, because that'll just scare them away. It may cause more danger for the child or the teenager or the adult, whoever's part of it. But some of the signs basically can, and I could actually bring some of these up really simple. Warning signs of human trafficking. I'll just read some out to you right here. Appearing malnourished, showing signs of physical injuries and abuse, avoids eye contact, social interaction, and authority figures. You know, if they see law enforcement, they shy away, they'll turn the opposite way. Here you go. Here's one here. They seem to adhere to scripted or rehearsed responses in social interaction. The person they're with will do all the talking. Poor physical, dental health, untreated sexually transmitted diseases, security measures that appear to keep people inside their establishment. You know, not only for human trafficking, it may be a drug-related issue as well in the home. Selling drugs, or maybe might just be for safety, for their own safety. But if you pass by a lot of the homes in North Philadelphia, you'll notice bars on their porches. People can't come in, or bars inside their windows or outside their windows. But, you know, there's some signs right there. They're just some of the warning signs. A lot of those warning signs, there's that you can go online. There's a a site that was created in 2002 called Polaris. I don't know if you're familiar with Polaris, but Polaris is named after the North Star, and that's where they got their name from. And that was created in 2002. Now, the North Star, of course, was noted for people held in slavery. So that's what
Yes.
they, yeah, so that's how they navigated their way towards freedom. So that's where Polaris, the website, and people can go to polarisproject.org to get more information. And I get a lot of my information from there as, and excuse me, because I am very under the weather still with this cold that I've got.
Thanks for
Homeland
joining
Security.
us.
Yeah, Homeland Security, the Blue Campaign. You can go to dhs.gov/blue campaign for a lot of information on some telltale signs of human trafficking or even child sexual abuse. And their hotline is 800-932-0313 if you need to report any of those signs that you may see or encounter, or if you're in Philadelphia, 215-683-6100.
Wow, thank you for those numbers.
You're welcome.
We all appreciate that. So that's so important. Art, this has just been great. So just to recap again, Art Salvagno, he is the founder and the CEO of battleforchildren.org. It is a ministry for human trafficking and also child sexual abuse. There is a big event this coming Saturday, February 23rd, 2019. Please check out his website about that. I know there's going to be continued events that we will actually help to promote here on this webcast for the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation. So, Art, I just want to thank you so much for the time here. And just to also recap again for anybody listening, we are the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation. We are for the strengthening of family life, families in crisis, and also making outreach to help to make greater awareness about human trafficking and child sexual abuse. So stay in touch with us at nonnatus.org. I would be happy to hear from you. And my email again, director.srnf@gmail.com. So Art, I was wondering if you would lead us in a prayer as we end for victims of this tragedy.
Absolutely. Father, thank you for bringing us together to help protect those who have been victimized through human trafficking or pedophilia. And please, we ask that you shine a light upon all others, that they get this message, that we are able to get this message to those in need, whether victimized or who just need this information. Protect all those in blue, in brown, all our first responders. Help them see and deal with these issues and protect our innocent. And help all who come and encounter these evil, traumatic instances. With your help, with your guidance, we know all is possible because you are good. And only you bring the good out of all. You bring the good out of evil. You combat, and you could help us combat. So we look to your services, Lord. We look to your power, your mercy, your strengths in your name, Lord. Amen.
Art, thank you so much. Please join us again. I think Art and I were talking about maybe doing some more of these with information about more awareness for the tragedy of child sexual abuse and human trafficking. So Art, thank you so much again.
You're welcome.
And I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
Yes. So we offer our prayers until we see you next time. I'm DeSantis. Have a great day.